always want to make sure I'm trading a size that I'm comfortable losing in my real life as well. So if you have normal income and you can trade and you're able to make money, you have double income and your mindset is going to be way, way chiller. I would simply delete my empty buys. I would not trade for the whole day. And I would come back tomorrow with a fresh mindset. The spreads are really important for me. That's why I actually came from another firm, because I had a firm, but spreads are bad. Don't rush the process. Don't look at others. Only look at yourself.
Hi, Agit. How are you today?
Hello, I'm good. Thank you. How are you?
Good, very good. So I'm really excited to be here with you today because you won one of our funded challenges, which is absolutely amazing. And I have a few questions for you. First of all, also congratulations, of course, as well. Now, before we get into all the exciting story behind it and what it was like for you and the whole journey you've been through, I actually wanted to ask you, how long have you been trading for? And since when have you been with Academy X?
So I've been trading since actually 2020, so during COVID. So I started during COVID. And with FundedX, I think since, I don't recall too much, but I think since last month.
Oh, okay. There you go. Beautiful. So now with the challenge, how much money did you actually win? And what did it cost you to enter the challenge?
So I think 100K valuation was $500. I used a discount code, so it was like 400, I think. And then I got a payout of $1,900. So the difference was like $1,500 profit on my pocket, I would say.
Wow. Okay. So what are you planning on doing now with your won money? Are you going to put it back into another challenge? Are you just gonna have yourself a Merry Christmas present? What's the plan?
Yeah, I bought two more evaluations, 100K, and then just the rest of the money I gave to my parents because, why not?
Yeah, okay. Sounds like a good plan. So with you doing the challenge, because obviously I'm the mindset coach and I'm always really curious with, people who won their challenges, how they
Yes.
mastered their mindset. Because obviously it wasn't probably smooth sailing and it was difficult at times. So is there anything you can share with us that is inspiring maybe to others, where you can share how you pulled yourself out of maybe anxious moments, or where you felt overwhelmed, or maybe price wasn't doing what it was supposed to do? And, like, were there any emotional moments that you would like to share?
Yeah, so what I found myself is that when I'm trading a challenge or whatever, I always want to make sure I'm trading a size that I'm comfortable losing in my real life as well. So let's say I'm comfortable losing $100, then I'm not gonna go for a 200K. I might as well go for a 10K evaluation, because you don't want to rush the process, obviously, because the emotions will get to you, especially when you're like at phase two or like the funded part, because it's gonna like change your mindset, because it's gonna come to real money and you're gonna be like, yeah, I never made so much money, or I never risked so much money in a trade. And you're gonna start with emotions. So what I did is I started with a 10K. You build your capital up slowly, and once you're comfortable risking, let's say 1K, then you can obviously jump to bigger valuations, because that's all what matters, right? You want to grow your capital. You want to, let's say, get funded 2 million. You could always do that, but you're not gonna start with 2 million straight away, because you will just get blown away with all the emotions. Because like, even if you look at your screen on your phone and you see like 20K in profit whilst you don't even have $50 in your bank account, it never will make sense.
I think that's really, really good advice. But I think it takes also a lot of self-awareness to be able to say that, because I think some people sometimes get lost almost in the greed. I think it's really humble and self-aware to say, only kind of lose what you would be comfortable with losing, because otherwise you blow it out of proportion. Like, it's really good advice. So what did it feel like for you winning? Did you almost expect it? Did you feel confident? Or was it like, oh my God, this is like my first challenge I won? Or was it the first challenge? What did it feel like overall?
Now, personally, I don't really feel like anything. It was just 2%. Like, it's just something casual, because I've been funded multiple six figures before, still am to this date. So it didn't really feel anything crazy, because like I have traded multiple challenges, I've had multiple payouts. So, once you have the skill set and once you do this every day for like a separate amount of period, it just becomes normal, right? And especially one really good thing is to have a normal main income. So I have another income outside of trading. So when I'm not trading, I still make money. So that's a big thing, because
Yeah.
traders, they put a lot of pressure on themselves going full time with trading without having real money. And if you only have $500 and you go for a 100K valuation, that's like all your money going into one thing. And if you blow it, your mental is going to be bad. You're going to have no money. But if you have normal income and you can trade and you're able to make money, you have double income, and your mindset is going to be way, way chiller because you're not rushing to make money and you don't have to make money. You just want to make more money. And that's going to like make everything way more easier, because I always tell people, even if you don't want to get a job, it's always better to actually have a job and make money outside of trading, because it's always better to have a safe net, because you never know
Yeah.
what's going to happen. You might not have a trade for like a whole month, and what you're going to do a whole month? Just sit there and do what? Nothing. You're going to force trade because you need to make money. But if you have a job, you don't need to.
Yeah, that's really good advice too. I think it removes all the pressure from it. And like you said, it's like a safety net, or it's almost like, having like another little income.
Yeah.
It's giving you that foundation and the safety. It removes all the pressure, and then you can purely focus on strategy. And I think then also, as a byproduct to what you said as well, being paid out multiple times, it removes the emotion. And while, yes, maybe some people get excited, whatever, I think it's really good to not have emotion to wins associated either, because sometimes it can be just as bad getting, anxious when you lose or whatever, but it's just as bad as when you get overexcited over wins, because you almost want to condition your brain for it to be normal.
Yeah.
Purely look at the strategy, you remove the emotion and keep going and keep building and winning win after win, and not getting like lost in that overexcitement. So that's really, yeah, really good input. Thank you so much. What is a piece of advice? Because obviously you seem like a seasoned trader. You've had multiple, you said 6-figure payouts and stuff. It seems like you know what you're doing. You are very self-aware in the sense that you have to remove emotion. It has to feel normal when you get those payouts. So I'm sure a lot of our viewers would be interested. How do you do that? Like, how do you remove emotion? How do you stick to that plan? Like, how can you become such a seasoned trader? So to make it simple in one question, is there any advice you can give younger traders, or something you would have said to your younger self, to anyone that is watching and wants to learn from you?
So personally, I would say give yourself time, right? Meaning, so don't compare yourself to me, because like maybe I'm 3 years ahead of you. You can't expect yourself to, make that 3 years up within 1 month, right? Obviously, I've had losing. I mean, I lost for like my whole first year of trading. I've blown accounts. My first payout, I was also shaking. I was like really happy, but that's all part of the game. And when you're first starting trading, once you're profitable, you have backtested and all that stuff, you go, you do a funded account, let's say you get a payout, you're gonna be happy. That's obvious, because it's your first time, right? That's like winning a soccer game for the first time, or scoring your first ever soccer game. Like, the first time is always gonna be good and nice, but then obviously simply rinse and repeat. And the thing is, let's say you do a 10K evaluation. That's like the same thing what I said before. If you're doing a funded account that's bigger than your actual size, you're gonna be way more happier. Because let's say I have 1K in my bank, I get a 5% payout on a 10K, which is $500. I'm not gonna be spinning around because like it's $500, right? But if it was 5K, then I would be spinning around because like it's 5 times more than I already have. So it's always depending on the size, and you don't want to rush yourself. You don't want to rush the process, because it also really, I think it really has to do with personality itself. Because like personally, I'm a very numb person in real life as well. Like, I really don't care about a lot of stuff, what happens, like even personal stuff, like, and those things I think really help you, especially like whenever you have gone through some stuff in your younger age and stuff, like you get mature very, very fast. And some people just don't have them, like are not mature that fast quick, especially when it comes to like, let's say you have a low house income, and you're the one that has to provide like money and stuff to your home. That's a very, very different maturity than someone who just goes to school, never had a job. The maturity is way more different. And obviously when you make money, it's gonna feel, I mean, it's gonna feel nice, but like it's just your own job. Like, you don't seem like you can't even enjoy it yourself, because you have to give it away anyway. So I think like really the real life aspect really, really tells you what type of trader you are. But overall, I think like personally, when it comes to psychology, like I don't really have much tips to people. I just tell it's all done with time. I can tell you whatever you want. At the end of the day, you will only listen to your own mind. So everything comes with time. You lose, you win, whatever. You just gotta stick through it. And if you stick through it and you do everything correct, obviously you're gonna make mistakes, right? Everybody makes mistakes. I make mistakes too. But 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, you will see at the end that there is light. right? Sometimes you win. The market will show you sometimes, okay, you actually can win. There's some light, but then it takes away. It keeps doing that, and then one day everything's gonna change, and there's gonna be more light than dark, and then that's when you make money.
Wow, that is really, really good advice. I love that. Is there any other tip you can give us in terms of how to handle emotions or sort of irrational thoughts that come up at times? And maybe now you're already a very seasoned trader and you've done it for years and you're a bit more numb. But maybe when you think back about your beginning stages when there was still a bit more emotion involved, besides the factor of time, you know, because you said over time you become a little bit more rational and you learn and you get more experience, what is it that made you always show up again and not give up and keep learning and remove the emotion? Like, is there any advice you can give?
So the thing that always kept me going is obviously I want to be rich. So, I always kept going for the lifestyle because like if you realistically think if you have a normal job in your country, obviously there are high paying jobs, but a normal job is not going to get you rich. It will maybe like you have a nice car or whatever, but it will never get you rich or financially and location comfortable. So what I always wanted is to be one of those, right? And personally, with emotion, obviously at the start or even mid through my journey, I had some emotions when trading, and I just went to myself and I reflected like, why am I having emotions, right? So usually when I have an emotion in a trade, I just close the trade. I don't care whatever happens because when there's emotion involved, I know I'm gonna do a mistake, right? I'll either close early. I will not close my trade because I'm too greedy. I'm gonna hold to whatever. So I always tell myself if I have any emotion going into a trade, I'm not entering or I close it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what I also had is sometimes, my greed would take over my emotions. So what I would simply do is delete my MT5. I would simply delete my MT5. I would not trade for the whole day, and I would come back tomorrow with a fresh mindset. That's what I did a lot. That's what I actually tell my friends because it's actually smart because when you're over trading, if you don't have the app and by the time you download, you log in, your entry is already gone, right? So you don't have a trade anymore. So I wouldn't even be bothered to actually download the app. So I would just wait for tomorrow. And then also sizing down on risk, I think plays a big role because if you risk 1%, you're gonna have way more motion than point. So personally, I just stick to like 0.5% usually on my funded accounts, and that's what really like fixed my mindset because I could lose 20 in a row or even 10 in a row, and I would only be halfway through my drawdown, so I wouldn't really care. I could lose 10 more. So I think it really depends on whatever you're risking, right? You should always calculate your risk based on your win rate. If your win rate is high, you're gonna be risking more. If your win rate is low, you're gonna be risking less because you're gonna be losing more. So you also have to think that your psychology, let's say if your psychology is bad, you want to have a high win rate strategy, right? Because if your psychology is bad and you can't afford many losses, then you always want to have a high win rate strategy. But if your psychology is good, you could always go for a lower win rate strategy. Let's say you go for a 30 win rate and you have like average of 5 RR, you will be profitable. You will just lose more. But if your psychology can actually accept those losses and keep going, then you're obviously gonna win.
Really good input. I love listening to everything. It's really, really good advice. I'm sure all the watchers are going to love it as well. Now, just for the end, I'm just really curious also, because you did say you have been paid out before. So, what was it like with FundedX? Do you feel, or even Academy X overall, do you experience with us? You know, is there any differences to, for example, other prop firms, or what has been your overall experience with Academy X and then also FundedX?
So I would say my overall experience is very good, especially, having a good connection with the owners, I think is a very important thing as well because they don't see themselves higher as you, you're just kind of friends with them, you get to chat with them and say what's up to them. So I think that's a very good thing. In terms of, the prop firm, the market conditions, I think that it's pretty solid. I've traded like I could say up to 20 to 30 trades. I've had no issues, no slippage. The spreads were very tight, which is very important because I'm a low time frame trader. The spreads are really important for me. That's why I actually came from another firm because I had a firm, but spreads are bad. And so, I had to look at something else. And the spreads are very important. The customer server is also very good. I pretty much get instant responses, friendly responses. If there's an issue, it gets fixed with no problem. So overall, I think it's very good. The customer experience, and if you add conditions, the pricing, which is like competitive compared to the whole industry, obviously. So I think overall, it's a very good product.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for your feedback. I think we're all very happy to hear that. Do you have any last words? Because we're actually all done already. I think you've done an amazing job and I'm so happy to meet you. But any last words, anything you would like to share with the community, with fellow traders, anything?
I would just say, stick to the plan, work yourself up, don't rush the process, don't look at others, only look at yourself, and keep reflecting on your mistakes and what you did good, because what you did good, you want to keep doing good. So you want to repeat what you're doing good. Like, you don't want to stop doing bad stuff because that's impossible. You just want to make the mistakes less, right? And that's how you grow. So I would just say, just that I think was enough.
Just keep going. Exactly. I
Yeah.
love it. Well, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for all the questions you've answered. And I wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And I'm sure I will speak to you very soon.